Awesome guys, Ifan back again with another video, and this video is in response to a query on a WhatsApp group on Microsoft Excel. Now the gentleman who posed this query had this data. This is the login credentials of users on their system, and each user is in each column. And what this gentleman wanted was have output that looks like this. So basically what happens is the first, each login information is 7 rows. So the first 7 would be the first user, and then a blank line, and then the second user from the second column, and then a blank line, then the third user from the third column, and so on and so forth. So if we were to highlight this, I'm just going to go ahead and put some colors here. So the first user, let's just say it's 8 rows because there's an empty row that goes for each user. So the first 8 rows in the first column make the first 8 rows in the first column. Then the first 8 rows in the second column make up the row number 9 through row number 16, again at the first column. And then the first 8 rows in the third column make up rows 17 through 24 of the first column. Okay, so this is what needs to happen. Now the standard transpose function that's in Excel is not going to be able to do this trick for us, and let me show you how. Let me just move this to the end. Oops. And I'm just going to call it transpose failed. Okay, let me show you. If I were to highlight this data, Control C for copy, paste special values and transpose. Now see what happened. What it did was it took the first row, the first cell, made it the first cell. The second column in the first row made it the second row in the first column. Then the first row in the third column became the third row in the first column. So so this obviously did not work. So we need to come up with another plan. Okay. So let's insert a sheet called output generated. Okay, this is the output that is needed, and over here is what we'll get when we actually generate the output. Okay, now if you see here, let's go here. Now the way Excel labels rows and columns is columns are labeled in letters and rows are labeled in numbers. Okay, so you have column A, column B, C, D, and so on and so forth. You have row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Now if you were to move to the right, see how it goes V, W, X, Y, Z, or Z. Then the next column is AA, then AB, AC, AD, and so on and so forth. Till we go to AY, AZ, or AZ, and then you have BA, BB, BC, BD, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how it Excel labels columns, and like I said, rows are labeled as numbers. So we need another helper sheet. We'll call this decode. Okay, now in this sheet here, what we'll do is we'll put the name of the columns. So excuse me, the first is A, B, then C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay. Now, as I showed you earlier, now the next one would be AA. So what I can do is it's equal to A ampersand, which actually joins the two. So there's going to be A. Okay. Next, if I copy this format down, it's going to be A, B, A, C. So I'm just going to copy this down. Now, we need to stop at AZ or AZ and make this into B. And this would be again A1. Okay, so BA, BX, BY, BZ, and that's good enough. Okay, so you've got the names of the columns in this sheet here. Now, this is the output that we are looking to get. And this will go in the output is going to go in the first column. So let's label this or highlight this in a light shade of pink. Okay. Now, like I said, we'll need a couple of helper sheets. One helper sheet was, well, a couple of helper columns also. We need one helper sheet here, and this, what we'll do is we'll create two helper columns here. Okay. Now, if you go back to the original, this is the first column. So 8 rows of the first column go in the first column in the output. Okay. Then again, first 8 rows of the second column go in the first column. So this is, for this is column 1, this is column 2, this is column 3, column 4, and so on and so forth. The first column, second column, third column, fourth column. Okay, and each column has 8 rows. So what we'll do is we'll put 8 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically, but this is 8 rows. Okay. Now, on the 9th one, we'll say if row, basically the row function gives you the row number, is greater than or equal to 8, then 1, otherwise F1 plus 1. So if is less than or equal to 8, then, or if you can even say equal to or greater than 9, add 1 to F1, otherwise leave it as 1. Okay. So you've got 8 ones. Technically, if I did everything right, I should have 8 twos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you've got 8 twos. And once again, if I did everything right, I should have 8 threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And so on and so forth. So all these numbers, they are in sets of 8, I'm sorry. So you have 8. Again, let's label them the way we have done that previously. This 8 is in green. Put this in, and you see the count is 8. Oops, sorry. Okay, so we've got one helper column created. Now, what we'll do is we'll have another helper column. Now, what we want to do is if the row number, so this gives you 1 because this is row number 1. If I come down, row 2, 3, 4. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to check if row number is equal to 1, then just put a 1. Otherwise, what you do is you go and look up what's in the row above and you add 1 to it. Okay. So we'll use the indirect function. Address row -1. I'll explain this in just a bit. Column oops, I forgot if. Okay, so what this does is if row is equal to 1, if it's row number 1, then just put a 1. Otherwise, create an address, go up 1 row, same column, take whatever's in there, and you add 1 to it. Okay. Now, what we want to do is, if it's greater than 9, we need to stop. And then we need to restart again. Okay. So, what we do is, we put if this guy is equal to 9, then 1. Otherwise, take the same number. So basically what we want to do is when we hit 9, we need to reset to 1. Okay. In fact, I should have done it over here. If this is equal to 9, then put a 1, otherwise the same. And I'll just copy this formula down. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then this becomes a 9, but because this condition comes out true, that this if it's 9, put a 1. So it starts at 1 and then goes all the way down. So it counts from 1 to 8, and then resets to 1 again. Okay. I'm just copying it all the way down as far as we had the F column. So you see 8, 1 through 8, and then 1 through 8, it only counts till 8 and then resets. Okay, so we've got our 2 helper columns ready. Now what I'm going to do is, the final formula is going to go here, but I'm going to use this space to actually construct the formula step by step. Okay. So what we need is decode ampersand F1. I forgot the equal sign in front of it. I'm just copying it down. Now, if I had not left that empty column in between, I could just do a double click and it would paste it down. Okay, so you have decode 1. For all this, you have decode 1, then decode 2, decode 3, and so on and so forth. Now, oops, I forgot one thing here. This needs to be A. Decode A, and I'm just going to highlight this as yellow. This goes in green, and this goes in blue. Okay, so you've got decode A1. That's decode A1. And decode A2, decode A2. Okay. Now, we've got an address for the cell. Now what we need to do is use this address to get what's the value that's stored inside. So we'll use the indirect function, J1. So in decode A1, you got A. And if I were to copy this down, and don't worry about this reference error. That's only there because this is blank. Now if I were to fill this in, you would not get this error. Okay. So you have got 8 A's, then 8 B's, and then 8 C's, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now what I want to do is I'm going to join what I have here with this H here. So I'm going to say L ampersand H1. So I've got A1, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, A8, then B1, B2, B3. So now you see we are getting close to where we need to be. I'll just show you that. Maybe just put in these colors, because I just want to have what goes with each user ID. It needs to be in one color. So you've got A1 through A8. A1 through A8, that's your first column. Then B1 to B8, that's your second user. Then C1 to C8, that's your third user, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to pull the data. Again, we've got this the cell, but it's sitting in the, we need to reference this sheet. So cell A1, cell A2 of this sheet. So what we'll do is, again, we'll use the indirect function and original and set it down, and you see how it's starting to come together. Okay. Now this 0, that is there because these are blank. Now if I were to say blank A, blank B, basically blank row of column A, blank row of column B, Now if I go here, see blank A, blank B. Okay. So let me clear this. So what we'll do is we will say if this guy is not blank, then put the same value, otherwise blank it out. And now if I double click and send this format down, you'll see these zeros will disappear. Okay. So we've almost, from the looks of it, we have done, right? But we've got all these columns. I'm just going to just keep these two columns and I'll combine these into the formula, final formula. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it over here. Okay, now M1 is this guy here. So the reference is M1, so this replace M1 with L1 ampersand H1. And same thing here. So you see how it started to come together. And I'm just going to copy this down so that we can see that we are not making any mistakes here. Now, L1 and H1. This is L1. This is indirect J1. So wherever we see L1, we replace it with indirect J1. L1 is indirect J1, and another L1 here, but indirect J1. And we made this one change, and I'm just going to double click and send it down. So you can see we did not make any mistakes so far. So far, so good. Now we have replaced in this formula, we've got rid of the M's, the column M and column L. Okay, but we've got J, this guy here. So let's take this, and where we see column J1, we replace it with decode with, oops, sorry, there needs to be a question mark here. I didn't pick up copy the quotations. Okay, now if I were to send this down, see everything's working. So if you've got decode A and F1, we're keeping this formula, and then H1 is this formula with these two columns we're keeping, but we can get rid of all this other columns. If I delete this, you see this is still working. Okay, so let's highlight this in the color scheme that we had decided. And there you have it. And I can go ahead and delete these columns. I don't need these anymore. And these columns I can go ahead and hide if I want to. But you see how the original was each user ID was in each column, each user ID and each user data was in each column. Now we've got, and this is how we wanted everything in single column, and that's how we have it. Everything is in one column. Okay, so that is what the gentleman who posted that query on the WhatsApp group wanted, and here we were able to achieve this. And the beauty is you can have this. Right now we've only got 12 columns, so 12 users. Okay, so you can have like 100 users, and all you need to do is just make sure that you copy this formula further down, and this needs to go, cover all the formulas, all the columns, and it will, it will generate it for you. It will format everything for you in this format. So that's it for this video. If you like this video, please kindly give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Thank you.